I get to the appointment, and he explains Cyborg D to me. He said it's the best treatment available. He also said it was an experimental treatment, and he was concerned that my insurance company would not approve Dara, the wonder drug, Darzalex. But he felt that because of my age and my overall health, that they would be more likely to approve this cocktail, even though it was experimental. But he said that I would not know until almost the day my chemotherapy began whether my insurance company would approve that drug. But he hoped they would. In the stuff that I read about multiple myeloma kidney, what I read about multiple myeloma kidney, based on my kidney biopsy diagnosis, was that time was of the essence. That the difference in outcome between day 12 of starting treatment and day 21 was a big deal. So each day mattered of when my treatment would begin. And I was scheduled to begin chemotherapy on Tuesday, May 28th at 2 p.m. Memorial Day was May 27th. With various prescriptions I came out of the hospital with, they were all tied up in prior authorizations with my insurance company. Nothing was getting approved before the weekend. I was off medication that I should have been on for several days because my insurance could not get stuff approved. One of the biggest ones that I was on was called Cinacalcet. That was for my parathyroid. And I felt not being on that drug was the one that was the most important. And by Sunday, my heart was just racing. And so we just paid for that drug out of pocket. It was expensive because I couldn't wait for the prior authorization anymore because it just felt like my heart was going to jump out of my chest. And I thought that was the drug that was taking care of that based on what was going on in the hospital. And we had to run hoops to try to get cyclophosphamide, my chemotherapy drug, the one actual chemotherapy part of my treatment. Normally that has to go through a specialty pharmacy, but I could tell based on insurance dragging their feet with prior authorization that that was not going to get done before my appointment on Tuesday. So we ended up contacting Smith's Pharmacy, grocery store, and they said they could get it there by Tuesday at 11 a.m. so that I could have it ready for the 2 p.m. appointment on Tuesday. And that happened. But again, we had to pay for that out of pocket without getting the prior authorization. Because the prior authorization, because of the holiday, was taking too long. I also had a lot of confusion about medications on the Friday before the holiday, and I contacted my nurse Basha at Dr. Henry Igud's office and finally got clarification shortly before 4 p.m. on Friday, right before the holiday. So I at least was clear on what was going on going into Tuesday's appointment because Monday was a holiday. But insurance was doing me no favors at this point. Every prior authorization had been bogged down and I had to pay for multiple medications out of pocket just because prior authorizations hadn't gone through. And I was trying really hard to keep this Tuesday appointment. On Thursday, May 23rd, I began dialysis at DaVita North Las Vegas. My caregivers there are Leal, Trinice, and Cress. On a normal basis, there are others that come in occasionally, but they are the ones who do my dialysis every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Every single one of them is awesome. I love them. I met Lil first. I met Cress second, who set up my dialysis. And I met Trinice third, who took me off dialysis in my first session. And I remember saying to Trinice on that first day, "You are 3 times nice. Trey is 3 and nice. 3 times nice." She thought that was funny. And as I said at the beginning of this video, I saw Leo and Trinice last night when my CBC failed. And hopefully on Saturday, they will get greeted with good news that I have a new one in and everything's fine. But I already love Leo, Cress, and Trinice. They are great. And however long I'm on dialysis, it's always great to see them. Day one was uneventful for dialysis. 3.5 hours in the chair. Saturday was day two. Again, uneventful. Feeling a little bit better after each dialysis session. I want to talk a little bit about dialysis. What it's like. Just from a setup standpoint. A few years ago, there was a show on CBS called Be Positive. A sitcom about somebody with a rare blood type offering a kidney to a person with another rare blood type that they went to high school with, I guess. And in this show, the character goes to dialysis. And they're sitting in this little tiny room in these chairs that look very similar to what it looked like in the emergency room at Southern Hills yesterday. Just all gathered around, talking and hanging out. That is not how dialysis is. It is a gigantic room. I counted yesterday when I was in dialysis, and I think there are about 28 chairs in there, maybe 30. They're about 10 feet apart. Some of them are facing some direction, some are facing others. They're all lining walls or interior parts, where there might be two and they're closer together. But ain't nobody talking to each other during that. Everybody is pointed outward. Everybody is too far away to hold conversations. Everybody is in their own little bubble. Everybody's got a little TV if they want it. I just use my computer and my phone when I'm in there. But I don't know how everybody can become friends in dialysis like in that show. So it's just telling you that that show was BS like you ever would have expected it not to be BS. So I have not made friends with any other dialysis patients. Because everybody's just on their machine, getting their stuff done. A lot of people are sleeping. Nobody's really thinking of talking to each other. But it's not that bad. You just pass the time. And when you leave, you feel better. That's pretty much dialysis. On Saturday afternoon, I contacted my friend WW in California. I had not told him about the partial diagnosis I had. He said he was on a plane and that he would get back to me as soon as he could. And we weren't able to link up to go to NAB, National Association of Broadcasters Convention in Vegas, that we usually go to every year. He comes up to Las Vegas and I go see him. Sometimes he comes over to my house. And we had moved into this new house back in September, and I'd built a studio in here. You're looking at it right now. And I wanted him to come up and see it because I had no idea what my prognosis was going to be at that time. And I'm going into treatment on Tuesday. And I knew I wouldn't be able to see him anytime soon after. So I asked him if he would be willing to come up and see me. And at first glance, before I told him what was going on with me, he said he had too many things going on and he wouldn't be able to come up. And I said, okay, that's fine. But after we talked on the phone for a while, he said, you know what, I want to come up. I asked him if he could come up on Monday. And Monday was the Memorial Day holiday, and I knew we wouldn't get disturbed at all during that time. And as I said, he agreed to come up. And we spent all of Monday talking about music, going over my studio, listening to music. It was enormously therapeutic to me, even though I was feeling pretty terrible that day. WW, you have no idea how much it meant to me for you to come up. I can't thank you enough.